Hey, Sonny.
Hey, how you guys today?
Well, we're okay. We had West Durham on a minute ago, and I said something about all you did was play tennis. And he said the reason you played tennis was because you could call the lines. You could call whether it was in or out. And I said, yes, he's got a real bad habit when the ball is coming back towards him that it's out.
Yep.
Is that true?
I've lost a lot of friends that way.
Yeah.
Yep. Out's my favorite call, especially when it's against the other team.
Yeah, that's right.
But we need to get some new material. He always picks on you about the lines. Tell him to come up with something else on you.
Well, he's so flawless. It's hard for me to say anything bad about him, Barry. And as you well know.
I've already called you on the QT, and so I'm not going to repeat what I said about the game.
Tell me what you said. I got to know.
But you just tell me what you thought about the Alabama-Auburn game.
I thought Auburn played at one stretch in the game as good as they could play, and they still couldn't win the game. And I thought at times in the game that they played awful. And I thought, Abasahan is just he's such a force that they don't have any answer for a guy like him. And I thought the big freshman from Laverne was sensational. I think he's going to be like some of the players that you had before it's all over. If he becomes an offensive threat,
maybe.
Don't you think he's good?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think I missed on him. I didn't think he'd be that quick to develop.
He didn't look that good first few games he played, but boy, you look at him now. If you shoot around the goal, you better duck. Wear a helmet because he's knocking it. I didn't think that's one of Alabama's better games, but I thought Auburn defended them pretty well in at times. But Alabama's a better basketball team than Auburn. There's no question about that.
Has this Brown kid been a surprise to the Auburn staff? I mean, you can't...
Not from a shooting standpoint, Barry. They knew that he was a great shooter. They didn't know whether he could take the ball to the basket. They didn't know that he fit in a team concept really well. And to be honest, he's done all three of those pretty good. He's learning to drive the ball to the basket. He didn't even look to drive when he came here. All he wanted to do was shoot the three, and any shot, he was open on any shot in his mind. And he still does that occasionally. If he gets to where he can drive the ball to the basket so that they can't load the defense up on him, I think he's going to be a pretty good player because he really tries hard on defense, but he's got some things he needs to work on offensively other than knocking down threes. But yeah, they knew he was going to be good.
Sonny, do you think, the NBA is such a weird game, but can Obasanjo play in the NBA? I know that sounds crazy after last year to this year, but I know he doesn't shoot the three great, but he's got a great in-between game, which is unheard of now in basketball. The guy can pull up. He's got the strength when he goes to the hole to take a blow and still finish. His ball handling's gotten much better. He can play off the pick and roll. Could this guy have a shot to play in the NBA, you think?
Well, the only thing against him is 6'2". And if he picks up the three-point shot, if he can learn to move out just a little bit more and knock down the three, I can see him hanging on with a team and maybe becoming a very good player later on. But I think the question is exactly what you said. I think it's the outside shots. It doesn't even look pretty, but it goes in. He doesn't arc it. Seems like high enough at times, but boy, I tell you what. And I believe we'll probably say the same thing. If I was recruiting a guard, I'd certainly go after him.
Yeah, good player. Sonny, what about LSU? They as a team.
What you said, I couldn't hear.
What about LSU as a team? They don't act like they like each other, and so and a big man goes good, and they go good. If it's a basketball team that's dysfunctional a little bit defensively. They need to win this game at Kentucky Saturday to have any kind of chance. If they win that game, they might get in. If they don't win that, they're not going to. What's your opinion on this LSU team?
Exactly what you said. I think they're a little bit jealous of the big kid. I don't think the Hornsby kid was. I think that the quarterman's got to look for his shot, and I think he'll pass him up on shots. I think they're soft defensively. I don't think that they work extremely hard at it, and they're not physical at all. And I think all the things that you said, and I don't know why that's so. I think I got to look at it this way from the modern day player, Wimp. I think they would like to play for Johnny Jones. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I think they would like to play for him. So I don't see why they should be a problem there. Everybody coming in knew that this guy was all world, and they should have bought into that and accepted that. But I'm like you; I'm not sure that they have.
Well, it just seems like I hadn't studied them closely, but I know the Alabama game over there, they just haven't committed to the defensive end. If they would commit to they got plenty of offense, but they haven't committed to stopping people. I don't know. I just think you got to stop people, and because I know Dad always preaches. Some nights the ball's going to go in, some nights it's going to spin out, but your defense should not be inconsistent. Yeah, you may catch a guy who having a hot night, but you also have something to slow him down, and that's where you win games on that end. If I could pick one problem for LSU, that's what I would see. They're not committed to.
I think you're right. Well, I say this. I saw something the other night. I'd mention it to you guys. Texas A&M comes here to play, and they took 4 people and stood them in the paint and put pressure on the ball and played the whole game. I just wondered if y'all had watched them enough to say, did they play that way all year, or was that a scouting report type thing? And it was easy for your not your best player, but your average players to get shots. But your best players did not get shots. I mean, that's the way to be. It looked kind of like Virginia's defense without as much aggressive and without as much effort. But the defense looked like that pack line stuff and nobody could get into the paint on them. What do you guys think about Texas A&M?
Well, I know Billy I actually worked for him once, and he's a guy defensively. He wants to keep his guys in front of him. He wants to be solid defensively. He's not going to gamble. He's not going to press. He's not going to do a lot of trapping. He's just going to be solid. And so a lot of times teams will kind of hang around with them. They won't blow them out. I know they got Auburn late. It's like Auburn kind of packed it in late, but they try to be solid for 40 minutes and not give up a lot of easy baskets. He comes a little bit from the Tim Floyd, hey, get 2 guys back, don't give up easy baskets, and if we keep our guy in front of us over 40 minutes, eventually we'll break them and we'll win the basketball game. That's kind of been his philosophy.
Well, that's exactly what he did here. So I figured he must have been doing that most of the year. But I think they've done a terrific job with their team.
Sonny, I don't know who's going to win the tournament. So when I say the SEC tournament, so when I say this, I'm just speculating. I don't know. I assume that probably South Carolina, I hope South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and A&M are four of the teams that are in the NCAA. And there probably will be a 5th one added, and I don't know who that is, whether it be. It may not be. But when I look at this thing, as far as 2 or 3, some teams getting in the NIT, which is important to everybody's program, even though they're disappointed.
Sure. I'm
telling you right now, Sonny, you've got Arkansas, Ole Miss, Georgia, Florida, Alabama. If one of these teams doesn't win the tournament, that's 5 basketball teams. They're not going to take 5 teams. It's going to be somebody. Yeah, somebody's going to be left out.
That's exactly right.
And it's going to be very, very difficult on that team that's left out.
It's really going to be difficult. Well, let me ask you this: which one of those teams would you rather not play? Start up there with Ole Miss, Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, and Florida. Who would you most likely want? If you're one of those other teams in the SEC tournament, who would you? Both of you guys, tell me what you think. Who would you most likely not want to play?
Well, Alabama plays pretty well, and Arkansas is playing better at this stage. Georgia, a big win last night. I don't have an answer to that. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't either. I don't know.
I probably wouldn't want to play Mississippi State right now. With the team I would, other teams towards the bottom. That's the teams I wouldn't want to face. Probably Mississippi State.
Well, I think Mississippi State's got the whole package. I don't know why they're not winning more games than they do, and I don't think it's coaching. I know we're talking. I think you bring up an interesting point there about the NIT. I think people just think Alabama's a lot for the NIT, but people forget. Like, let's say, for instance, the Atlantic Sun. Now, North Florida won the regular season. Now, they lost. Now, there's a way to get in with Stetson's APR problem. Let's say Florida Gulf Coast wins it. Well, there goes one bid to the NIT because they get to go because they won the regular season but didn't win the tournament. So you start having that happen in these smaller leagues that are playing their tournaments now. Let's say Winthrop does not win the Big South, then they're going to the NIT. I don't know that Alabama's a lot for the NIT now after I thought about what you said, because they could finish 9th or 10th, and you got Georgia, you got Arkansas, you got LSU. All those teams, they're not going to take
Florida.
Yeah, they're not going to take 4 or 5 teams in the NIT.
I tell you what they're going to take. They're going to take the one that's got the biggest name on it. The biggest name
that'll be
player
Ben Simmons.
on it.
Be Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he's going to go if they don't make the NCAA. He's going to go. They're going to take the big name. You go on down through there. Who's got the next big name? To me, Basahan, it would be that guy. And I would think, in that regard, I think Alabama might have a better shot because they got a name. I don't know if Basahan's name is as big as he is in my mind. I just think he's a terrific player myself.
Well, they also think about in terms of crowd and money making. You wouldn't mind giving Arkansas a home game.
Oh no! Now that's right. They're gonna fill it up. Well, they played like a winner of the last game. Now there's no question about that. I mean,
I guess what you're saying, what I'm saying there is, the NIT is not a lot really for any of those teams.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But I say they'll take the guys with the biggest names. They really will.
If LSU does not go to the NIT, there are 6 basketball teams in the league. And that's leaving out Mississippi State with 6 wins. There's 6 basketball teams in the league that are worthy of going to the NIT. That's hard.
That is really
I guarantee you only 2 or 3 of them will go.
Yeah.
Because there's not room. There's just not room.
And you'll be lucky with 3. I'd say that's right.
Yeah.
Generally, you don't see more than 2 in a league going to the NIT. But now, that's speaking off the top of my head. You could give examples of 3 from a lot of leagues, but I don't remember that being that way.
If you guys are Alabama, let's say that happens, if you don't go to the NIT, you don't get a bid. Do you play in one of those other tournaments, the CBI or one of those? I wouldn't play in that. Would you guys?
I don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. It could be more damaging to them.
Yeah.
To go would be a little bit damaging. To go into it and lose would really be damaging, I would think.
Yeah,
I would say no.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
Sonny, I want to ask you, I think we talked about this. I don't know if you had time to think about it. We had Rick Stansberry on yesterday. And he said, when they broke up the divisions, there was only 12 teams in the league then, but it was voted 11-1 to do away with the divisions. That he was the one guy that voted to keep it that way, and his point was good. He said, what's wrong with playing for a championship? If you have 2 divisions, you're getting to play for an East and a West, so there's 2 or 3 teams involved in that, so it helps interest in both divisions. It helps you see the tournament a little bit better. You would know kind of a little bit earlier who's going to play. I think the division thing's a better deal because you get to play everybody twice in your division. Just want to get your take on that now that you have a chance to think about it. Should they go back to the divisions? Because they do it in football and baseball.
I think you should keep it consistent. If it's that way in other sports, I think it should be that way in basketball. But I think I would prefer totally for it to be in one division. But then again, what comes up in that is your out-of-league schedule. You wouldn't have many games left, and you'd have to schedule extremely hard to please the NCAA as far as getting into the tournament, and that's going to hurt records a lot, I would think. I think you'd have a better record if you played in divisions.
Well, you'd only have one more game. So if you played everybody, you'd play everybody in your division twice, everybody else once, so you'd play 19 as opposed to 18 right now if you did that, use that format.
Yeah, and I think you got to leave something for out of league scheduling, because you've got to schedule some easy games to get your team going, and then you got to schedule something to please the NCAA from a strength of schedule standpoint. So I don't know which one of those hurts the most, but I would have thought that it would be the divisions.
Well, that's about all I can think of today, Sonny. Anything on Auburn's recruiting that is of interest that you can tell?
They're well set in recruiting if everybody comes except for the big guy. I think if they can come up with one big person. Now, I don't know where that's going to come from, because you don't hear anything out there talking about who they're in on. If they get one big guy, they're going to be really good, because I've seen two of their kids play, and they're outstanding. And so I think they're going to be in really good shape. But that big guy, and they really need that too. They've got Trevon Reed sitting out, and he's 7 feet tall, and he weighs 247 pounds now. And he came in here weighing about 210. So he may be that answer. He doesn't look that way to me right now, but he could be that answer.
As Wimp would say, looks like Tarzan and plays like Jane.
That's exactly right.
All right, we appreciate it.
Hey, I enjoyed it, boys. I'll see you next week.